After the sweltering heat of the trip north, it was great to see a bit of fresh water. My trip was taking me into a remote area where I wasn't expecting to see anybody, and for the entire time there, I didn't see another person. Packed for 2 nights, expecting to be in and out in a hurry, but then, as I pulled up, I realised things are not quite going to plan. The trailer had snapped its A-frame, and I was not in a position to get any help from anybody. Being broken down in gold country, well, there was only one thing to do: go out and find a bit of gold, and that I did. I never had sufficient tools and didn't have any materials to do any repairs, but a friend down south told me of a mine site, or an abandoned mine site, that had a fair bit of scrap lying around. So I found some decent steel, some chain in an old dump, and that was all I needed. I grabbed a handful of bolts while I was at it. The next thing was to get the trailer back in shape. So I loaded everything up front of the trailer with the coupling disconnected, and then walked up the front. The trailer tumbled forward and pulled everything back into place. Tied that up there pretty securely. If I can get this peg driven in above it, that might pull it tight. So it's a star picket. I don't know. I've got to be careful because it'll come back on the tyre if it's not secure. But I'll go and get the big rammer from the other side, the big thumper, and see if it'll knock it in. It bucketed down here last night. The weather report says only 9.8 millimetres. It felt like 109.8. Went for about an hour and a half. And this little recess in the ground, that's where my battery charger was. And the 240 volt power plug floated out onto the side, but the battery charger just sunk to the bottom. and the generator overloaded and, well, stopped. So a lot of my material is buried this morning, but anyway, we're still going. So, have a go at tightening this nut here, if that camera will stay in place. I've got my doubts. I didn't bring a spanner this size, but the way these mining companies are, I might even find one if I went looking. Yeah, you can see why they used to have square nuts. So much easier to work. These rattle guns are good, aren't they? Whew, flies. I think it's actually called an impact wrench, but anyway, I've got that up enough that it's going to serve the purpose, I think, and I can keep an eye on it. It's up under that angle iron there, where the spare tyre used to be, and I'll put it back. And now I just secure this chain a bit better as a backup. It's not very strong. It goes to the top of the trailer though, and it'll stop a bit of bounce perhaps. So I've got that chain there going inside. Once again, it's only a backup. It's not very tight, but it's secure. And then this bit of security here has to be good because this A-frame's broken right off. And I think it'll be all right. And the other side's pretty good because I've rammed a drill up in there on top of a piece of angle iron. Seems pretty good. I had to take all my power out because I had the trailer wiring down one side of the RHS in the A-frame and the solar wires down the other one. So that's all been taken out. Go and see how that's looking on the outside. See that? Green grass where I am. There it is. And it's got to line up with this hole. Well, I think we're pretty much on target. I just have to select the right bolt. Yeah, one of them will do, I reckon. That looks like a square hole under there. What do you reckon? And here's the bolt. That should do the job. I'll go down the bottom and see if it's there. I might have to go a touch longer on that bolt. I could get a nut on, but not with a washer. Oh, I might. I'll give it a go. Well, I don't think I can do any more. That's the floor mount. It should be pretty secure. It's right beside an angle line. And the chain anchors onto these bolts to go through the frame at the top. So I think they've got a bit of strength. And this chain is just there in case that side of the A-frame decides to wander. It might just control it a bit. Otherwise, I've got a bit of spare left over. The only wire I can find is barbed wire. It was really hard to tie. That chain's been tensioned now, so let's just stop a bit of bounce if it decides to do that. And the grader blade going across there, well, I think that'll hold more than anything, because it goes right back underneath. A bit of a bend in it, never mind. Goes right back and anchors on the floor at the back. So I'm pretty confident I've got a fair hold on it. I put the safety chain on. I was in two minds with that. I thought if it falls off I might just keep driving, but the quad's in it, so I need that. I could walk in first, but then I'd get my feet wet. I think I'd better walk it. It's only knee deep, so that's all right. The only thing is it's pretty boggy with the sand, so I'm going to have to keep moving. But this vehicle's pretty good in the sand, and worst case I'll have to get out and deflate the tyres, but I think I'll get away with it. The only other thing that needed attention on the trip was that piece of 3/8 bracing for the mud flap started to bend and crack, so I added another tie wire above it, and that seemed to hold. So here we are now. I'm camped on the Fortescue River, and all the dirt track is over.